Good evening. I'm Catherine Vokins, founder and executive director of RTA. We're so very grateful that you're all here with us tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. Many of you know that for more than 25 years, Rehabilitation Through the Arts has operated a creative arts program in multiple New York State facilities. The program helps our members develop the skills necessary to be successful both inside and outside prison walls. We know our program works because less than 5% of our alumni return to prison, while the New York State is 42% and the country's nationwide average is over 60%. We received a generous grant from ArtsWestchester to share with you the ways that we are bringing the arts back inside the walls as the pandemic restrictions have eased. We're grateful to the Department of Corrections and Community Supervision for giving us permission to film classes in 2 of the 6 facilities where we work. They are both maximum security prisons and they're both based in Westchester County. Bedford Hills for women in Bedford Hills and Sing Sing in Ossining for men. Tonight, we're going to share a short film about our return to prison after an 18-month absence due to the COVID pandemic. The film will be followed by a panel of alumni and teaching artists, and we're very, very grateful to all of our supporters, but most especially to ArtsWestchester, who initiated this project. Thank you to our production team, to our teaching artists, and to our members for making this film possible. And now we present Restarting the Arts. Thank you.
The past 2.5 years have been extremely difficult for us all due to the COVID-19 pandemic. RTA was locked out of our facilities in March of 2020. This time of isolation has been extremely difficult for our participants behind the walls. Without programs like RTA, our participants were left with very little to occupy their time in a positive way. Fortunately, RTA was able to continue its programming by providing lessons through the mail, on audio cassette, and DVD. RTA offers programming in 6 facilities in New York State. Three of which are located in Westchester County. RTA was thrilled to reunite with our members in June of 2021, when facilities reopened with limited programs.
Hi. I'm doing well. How are you?
Hello.
Our members were just as happy to see us as we were to see them. Examples of programs we welcomed back after the shutdown were music composition and visual arts at Bedford Hills and scene study at Sing Sing. As with any workshop, we always begin with a warm-up. In our visual arts workshop at Bedford Hills, students created original pieces using acrylic paints. In our composition workshop, RTA was excited to partner with Music Cambia for a class in which students created original song.
much to see, so much to do. It's all right with me, so long as it's all right with you. So yellow breath. All you who are weak in heart, stay with me, you'll not fall apart. For I know the good awaiting in my life. Lord, you are who you say that you are in my life. In my life, you are Alpha, you are Jesus, you are an Omega, you are Jesus, you are.
At Sing Sing, class members worked on scenes using texts from playwrights, including August Wilson.
Braves got Hank Aaron from West Covington. Hank Aaron hit 2 home runs. That makes 43.
Hank Aaron ain't nobody. That's the way you're supposed to do it. That's how you're supposed to play the game. There's nothing to it. It's a matter of getting the right timing, getting the right follow through here. I can hit 43 home runs right now.
We can confidently say that despite COVID, our creative arts programs continue to grow and evolve.
That's because look, this is a different hearing. I have about 5 different hearings.
RTA provides an opportunity for our participants to express themselves in ways they cannot in other settings.
I'm currently taking 2 courses, one in acting, which I find to be totally amazing because I've never been an outspoken type. I'm more like keep to myself and quiet, like a fly on the wall, basically. So acting has actually brought out the inner personality in me. So I'm actually discovering different compartments within myself, of myself, that I didn't even know that I had inside of me. I'm more like of a whisperer. So with acting, you have to project your voice and you have to be like, oh, I'm here, see me. And that's like a totally different person than who I am after acting. And I'm also in painting. And I feel like, to me, painting is like so therapeutic. Because actually, when I was younger, I had stopped speaking for a little while. So they put me inside of therapy. And inside of the therapy, it was like an art therapy. So through art, I found my voice back. So by me painting now, it reminds me of those times. Like, I shouldn't be so withheld and so like, if I feel like I want to say something, I could just paint it out. And then you see it and you're like, wow, that's amazing. And I don't even know how I got to that point. That's just all the emotion that I've been bearing. And I just love RTA. It's so dope to me.
Our programs are generally facilitated by professional artists, but at Bedford Hills, we now have a class that is being co-facilitated by one of our own members.
To be able to teach was, first of all, a huge honor because it's not something I thought I'd have an opportunity ever to do, even on the outside, let alone in here. So it was a huge honor to be able to teach. I played music and started playing piano when I was around 5 years old and had a piano at home. And one thing that was a sorrow for me in coming to prison initially was not being able to play the piano. And so I fell out of touch with it for a long time. And I knew that I missed it, but I didn't realize how much I missed it until I got the chance to play it again. And so then being asked to actually teach and to share my love of music with others has been hugely rewarding. It's been a gift, and I've been so proud to see light bulb moments with my peers where things that they didn't think were possible suddenly became possible.
And I'm learning music theory, which is so thrilling to understand how composers, musicians, and artists create.
I've never composed anything before joining the RTA Music Workshop. And I've had my keyboard for a long time. I bought my keyboard in 2005. And, I learned how to play Happy Birthday and a couple of other songs, but the idea of composing never even occurred to me. I could compose a song? Nah. If you had told me that in 1995, I would be composing music, I would have said, get out of here, you're lying. But now I'm doing it. It's amazing.
RTA provides an opportunity for our participants to express themselves in ways they cannot in other settings. Attendance in all of our classes has been excellent since our return. Each of our workshops ends with a final presentation.
This painting here is called A Phoenix is Born, and we were supposed to do something about a memory, a feeling, or something that we feel strongly about, or some life experience.
I've been to the zoo. I said, I've been to the zoo. Mister, I've been to the zoo!
I'm sorry, were you talking to me?
I've been to the zoo. And then I walked and came here. Have I been walking north?
I've been a member of RTA since 2016. This, however, is my first visual art class. And I have to say, I wish I joined the visual arts before because I really enjoy doing art. This visual arts class is taught by Angela, who's a wonderful instructor. And she gave us a lot of platforms to open up and be ourselves and express ourselves with color and art. Angela asked us to do something a little bit more abstract, which I wasn't a fan of initially, but I have to say, after creating this masterpiece, I'm a fan of abstract. And this is the art tool that I use to create this piece of artwork. Basically, you pour some color onto the page, and then you just smear it over, and voila, your masterpiece comes to life.
RTA participants and teaching artists strive to explore their shared humanity. And to develop skills that will serve them throughout their lives. Things like team building, problem solving, public speaking, and so much more. In spite of the hurdles that the pandemic has presented, RTA continues to offer a model of justice based on human dignity rather than punishment. Doesn't that sound beautiful?
Yeah.
Academy Awards. Look out, here I come.
Hi, everyone. We're just bringing up the panel.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for watching RTA's film, Restart the Arts, the profound effects of the arts in corrections, and for staying on for this conversation. I'm Charles Moore, Director of Operations and your panel moderator this evening. You just saw a snapshot of RTA's full return to in-person workshops as the COVID-19 pandemic restrictions have loosened since the summer of 2001. This film highlights our return to conducting 3 different workshops per week in each of our 6 facilities. Thanks again to the Department of Corrections and Community Supervision for giving us permission to capture these salient moments with our members, and for ArtsWestchester for your generous support of funding this project, documenting our unique return in history. We must give a special shout out to our production team, RTA alumni, Albert Furman, and teaching artist Meg Abels for editing the film. We couldn't have pulled this off without you. And our program director and myself, Joe Giardina, for scripting and the camera work. Please let us know if we have a second career as cinematographers. We're joined tonight by 3 RTA alumni who were incarcerated during the COVID-19 pandemic and also participated in our return to in-person workshops after an 18-month hiatus. Joining our alumni on the panel are 2 RTA teaching artists who were amongst some of the first facilitators to return to the correctional facilities after the program paused. But before I introduce our panelists, I want to give the audience a heads up that the chat box is open for your questions. I'll ask a few questions to get things going, but please add your questions in the chat box as we go, and we'll try to get to as many as we can. At this time, I'm excited to welcome and introduce Ty Gillespie, Rodney Jones, and Marcel Smith, all RTA members who've come home recently. Welcome, guys.
Hello.
And please welcome Claire Wasserman and Leah Pickus, 2 of RTA's teaching artists. How's it going this evening, everyone?
All right.
Thank you.
There we go. There we go. How's it going, everyone? Did y'all enjoy the film?
It was cool.
Very well put together.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So first, before we get started with the questions, do me and Joe have a second career as cinematographers? We did all that camera work.
The camera work was great. I'm not too sure about the
Oh my God. Okay. Sorry I asked. So let's get to these questions. My first question is for the alumni. All of you are longtime members of RTA program on the inside. And I want to ask you, how was it not to be with RTA for 18 months during the COVID pandemic? Marcel, can you set it off?
Sure. How was it without RTA? So RTA is family. You know, another thing that was taken was our visits. So not seeing RTA, not seeing the members come in is not seeing our family members. You know, so it's a sad part. You know, it's like, you know, where's my family? What I got? When can I speak to them? When can I see them? You know, so it was hard times. It was definitely hard times.
Thank you, Marcel. Ty?
Yes, like Marcel just said, RTA is definitely family. So in a female facility, it gives us something positive to look forward to every week. So without RTA during that time of COVID, it was definitely a very sad time, very depressing. And it was really hard to cope without having somebody to look forward to seeing every week, you know, participate in the program, you know, have something productive and positive to participate in. It was difficult.
Thanks, Ty. Rodney, take us home.
Yeah, it was a huge loss. Take a facility like Fishkill, which is very depressive. It's a very depressive place. And RTA allowed us to create a space where, like Marcel said, we have family, we build a bond. And oftentimes the only way that you can see someone that you build the relationship with in RTA is in one of the classrooms, in one of those classrooms, one of those spaces that we created. So for 18 months not to have that, that was devastating. And then some of the members disappeared out of the facility, were gone by transfer, and we didn't know anything about it until a couple of months later. So it was very difficult.
Wow, and I think just to highlight something that you pointed out, Marcel, during that whole COVID pandemic, it was some people you didn't see for the whole course of the pandemic, correct? Until in-person programming started back?
Right. So we had no idea if guys were still there. You know, some of your best friends, you know, you don't know where they are, how they're doing, because you know the jail is so segregated prior to COVID. And then once COVID came, it was even more segregated and it was limited movement. So, you know, so only thing we had was phones or things like that. And it was kind of hard to get into contact with RTA members, you know,
Thank you
so
for
we
that,
couldn't find
Marcel.
out anything.
Great, great, great. So we're here to highlight restarting the arts. So what was it like when you heard RTA would be back to in-person programming? Marcel, you went first last time. So Rodney, what do you got? How you set us off?
Oh man, it was like, so there was not a whole lot of movement. COVID restrictions are starting to loosen up, but there was not a whole lot of movement in the facility. So when we finally get the word, like, listen, we're about to start RTA again, facilitators, teaching assistants, teacher artists about to start coming in, and we are about to see people that we haven't seen in months. That was great, man. And word started to spread around the facility, and slowly but surely we got to recreate those bonds to the best that we could. It was good, man.
Ty?
It was great. After being locked down for so long and not being able to see my family and other people not being able to see their family, loved ones, and not being able to move within the facility, period. Just like Rodney just said, the jail was pretty much on lockdown. It was just great being able to see you guys. A little bit the time we had together, it was just great. It was very exciting. So it made everybody happy, you know?
Nice, nice. Marcel, did you want to add anything?
I mean, for me personally, I mean, I was like the little kid that knew about my surprise birthday party. I knew it was going to happen and I couldn't wait. You know, I couldn't wait. I was just so anxious, and like it was an amazing feeling, like, you know, like getting those visits back, like seeing your family for the first time in a long time. You know, it felt great.
Great. Thank you, guys. And you know, RTA doesn't take that for granted that we were one of the first programs besides higher education to be invited back into the facilities. So that's a great sign. Let's get the teaching artists involved. How you doing tonight, Clara?
Good evening. So happy. I'm
Okay,
happy to be here.
Thank you for joining us. So one of our participants, Taisha from Bedford Hills, had spoke about how visual arts helped them to find their voice in the video. Do you find it to be true in both male and female facilities that you work in, that the arts can help you find your voice? Because you work in both our male and our female facilities.
Yes, I've been teaching at Woodburn and this summer at Bedford Hill. I see that the RTA Visual Arts program does help the male and female facility participants find their voice and self-expression. While I do focus and address some fundamental visual art skills in my lessons as a vehicle for expression, their voice comes through by their strong individual concentration and focus with their observation. They are all artists without having many opportunities or resources to hone and practice these vital abilities. And this program enables this positive self-expression to happen and flourish.
Wow, that's great, Claire. And I can't tell you how popular the visual arts program has been in all 5 of our facilities. We're trying to get it in to Conic yet, but we're still doing a restarting. But the 5 facilities that we have visual arts in, it's really, really, you see it yourself. It's really an enjoyable program. Ty, can you speak a little bit about how the creative arts help people to find their voice? Ty, are you there? All right, let's move on to Leah. Leah, how was it?
Sorry, I was muted. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. No, I just wanted to know if you could tell us how the creative arts has helped people to find their voice.
Oh, how it helped me find my voice. Well, I was incarcerated at a young age at 17, And I was just recently released like 45 days ago, so I'm 36.
Welcome home.
Thank you. So it's just a long process of being a kid in prison, being angry at the world, trying to learn responsibilities, trying to grow up, being mature, puberty, things like that. Things that you normally experience in society with your family and friends and loved ones, I had to experience in prison. So joining RCA enabled me to be able to use my creative I guess abilities. I do know how to draw. I was in acting classes in high school, and I used those opportunities with the program to do more introspection, to use art as a way to express myself instead of being angry and wanting to fight and do things that I shouldn't have been doing. And eventually, over time, I did more introspection. I matured more, and it was due to the program. All those years actually being a part of the program for over a decade while incarcerated definitely helped me become a more mature and a better person I am today.
Thank you for that, Ty, and thank you for your dedication to RTA. And I can't wait to see how you flourish as an alumni out here. Leah, how are you, Leah?
I'm well.
Okay. Can you speak a little bit about how teaching the music composition class went in Bedford Hills?
Yeah. So I taught a music composition class that was about 7 weeks long. And the students were so open and willing to engage with the course material, which again ended up being a lot of music theory and the theory behind songwriting, as well as songwriting exercises and in-class workshops. And all of the students were so engaged during the class, and both during and outside of the class made a lot of really beautiful music. So it was wonderful. And if I hadn't been moving out of the city, I would have loved to keep teaching there.
Thank you, Leah. Marcel, what was it like to be back in a theater workshop in person after almost 2 years?
Wow. Being back in person, I mean, it like Tasha, it gave me my voice back. I wasn't a number anymore. I was Marcel. I was a person. My voice mattered. My opinion mattered. I was able to be in a space that was separate from prison. That space it gave me comfort. It allowed me to be dedicated to something, and that was gone for so long. So to have that back, that's like getting rid of a sentence in itself. The sentence was RTA taken away, and then it was given back to me. So it was like a breath of fresh air.
Thank you, Marcel. Clara, did you notice a difference in the level of engagement with the participants once we return back to workshops?
Hi, I did see a difference in the level of engagement once teaching artists returned to the facilities, in that the RTA members were so, starved of engagement and interaction. They were so eager and so appreciative and responsive to the different lessons that I were brought in, and they were ready to be involved in a new visual art opportunity experience. They were more than ready to interact. It was good.
Excellent. And Claire, we also want to thank you because over the course of the 18 months, RTA was still providing programming through hard copy, through cassette tapes, through DVD, and you were dedicated and to always send in visual arts lessons for the participants, and they really appreciated that as well. But it's nothing like that in-person teaching that they so miss. Yes. Rodney, can you talk a little bit about the engagement in the creative arts has meant to you over the years with RTA? I mean, Rodney, you've had lead roles, you've been in most of our workshops, and you left the facility on the steering committee. So what was that engagement like for you?
Well, when I first joined RTA, I always thought of myself as having this nervous energy. I didn't talk much. That's how I saw myself. It was very difficult to get in front of a room of people and just speak and have all eyes on me. But as you mentioned, I was a lead role in the play in Cyrano, and I did not want that role. Like, I was fighting not to get that role. But the director wanted me for the role, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna do it. I'll go ahead and try it. And I was so surprised that when I got on the stage for the very first time in front of a live audience of that size, a lot of people in the audience, I didn't feel nervous at all. I just felt supported by my castmates, and like it gave me another level of confidence that I discovered another level of confidence that I didn't know was there, and I credit that to RTA and every other workshop after participating in that production reinforced that. So doing something like this was, I probably thought this was never going to happen, even though there's people that I don't see, I know they're looking at me and listening to what I'm saying. So this is RTA right here. This is RTA's doing.
I can still remember sitting in the audience watching Cyrano, and I would have never guessed that that was your first time on stage. You killed that role. Congratulations. Leah, on the same note, in a sense, how was it for you to teach in a correctional facility for the first time?
Yeah, I had never taught inside a correctional facility before, so I didn't really know what the experience was going to be like going in, but I had a really positive overall experience coming in as a teacher. The students, again, were so engaged and welcoming and kind, and really made for a receptive and collaborative classroom experience. So I think that, like, besides the actual entering and exiting of this facility, it structurally felt pretty similar to teaching engagements I've had in the past.
Wow. Thank you, Leah. We want to make sure that we're mindful of folks' time because we promised that this would be a short video. So at this time, I like to check in with Brandon to see if we have any questions from the audience. Brandon, we got anything?
We do have a few questions. The first one being, once released from the correctional facility and becoming an RTA alum, do you find yourself still involved in the arts or finding a career within the field of art?
Rodney, Marcel, and Ty, did you hear the question?
I guess I'll take a first crack at that. So I'm not doing anything like theater. I would love to do it. Theater is so much fun. I wouldn't be surprised if, at some point they have a theater groups in Ithaca, not too far from where I live. I might walk into that building one day and ask, "Yo, what's up? Can I get down with this?" But I'm writing, and I've taken a lot of workshops dealing with writing, monologue, creating monologues, and that was very, very important to, in developing a writing voice. And I think all writing to some extent is performative. I imagine a reader sitting down with a book or an essay I wrote and mouthing the words out loud. And workshops like the monologue workshop that was brought to Fishkill, I think, was helpful.
Excellent. And I know Ty and Marcel are recently back out to the society with us, but Marcel, can you tell us about the gig that you got coming up in September?
So the job is project manager, correct?
Something like that.
Something like that. So I'm basically in charge of contacting all the guys who have been released and to see if they would like to come for a viewing in September 29th.
So a viewing of what, Marcel? You left all the meat and potatoes out of your job.
Oh, Dramatic Escape, of course. So right. So the production company, I forget the name. The name is there. So they were doing a filming of the play that we were doing. All of us came together. And Dramatic Escape is amazing. I saw myself in there a few times. But that process, that's one thing I like about RTA. The process is amazing. So that film shows how your contribution helps someone else. So like it allowed me to see like what I was able to bring to RTA help someone else. That process is taking 45 to 50 pieces or puzzle pieces that don't fit together at all, but somehow managed to put something together so perfect and beautiful.
So just to clarify a little bit, we're excited to announce, and you're the first to hear it, that in September, RTA will be having a Dramatic Escape reunion, and Marcel is going to contact the entire cast to see if we can get this union going, because everybody who was in that production is home. So we're going to try to have a reunion. So stay tuned for information about that coming soon. Brandon, do you have any more questions?
I do. I have a few.
Okay.
I have another one. Does RTA work with other criminal justice reform art programs? Charles, maybe you can talk about Music Cambia and our collaboration.
Sure. We have just partnered with Music Cambia, and this past spring was our first collaboration with them, and they were gracious enough to come in and partner with us to help in our keyboard music class. And this collaboration is going to be even bigger come the fall, because Music Cambia is going to bring in more of their teaching artists. Is that way we will be able to offer our participants and others other instruments and other ways to learn how to do music composition. That's one. And the other thing that we do is we have strong references with a lot of the reentry programs that are available in the New York City area, such as Exodus Transitional Community, the Osborne Association, and Fortune Society. Anytime we send any of our alumni there, they get top-notch service. So we do have some collaborations with other reentry programs. Any other questions, Brandon?
Yes. Let's see. Love the work y'all do. Are all incarcerated folks able to participate in workshops, or are there a specific eligibility requirements? I think that's another one for you, Charles.
Sure. So RTA is open to all the people who are incarcerated. However, space is a problem, and we do most of the time have a waiting list in the correctional facilities. But we're coming back from COVID. What we're going to try to do is run more RTA one-on-ones more times per year, so that we can keep our waiting list to absolutely zero. But the program is open to everyone who's incarcerated, regardless of your crime. Everyone is accepted in the program. The length of stay in the program is totally up to the participant, but the program is open up to every individual who's incarcerated in the facilities that we work in. Brandon?
Okay. Maybe this is one for Charles and the teaching artist. How are the teachers trained to work with members?
Clara, can you tackle that? You've been with us a while.
Yeah, so I have, like, as an artist, I have formal training, and I also have a training in education, and that's part of my training. I have also have previous experience teaching adults, so it's not so different than teaching outside, although there's limitations on what you could bring in, and you have to think, you have to plan ahead. But the training and the work within the class is really the same on the outside, I would say.
Great. And I'll just add on that our program director, he takes resumes from everyone, and then when he calls you in, you have to do a audition for us to make sure that you know how to teach the art form that you have presented to us. Because believe it or not everybody that knows how to do the arts know how to teach the arts. We have learned that the hard way. So we try to make sure that our teaching artists that would like to join us also know how to teach the art form that they are wanting to teach with us. And then once you're cleared by the Department of Corrections and you're able to go in, the program director and myself and other senior teaching artists go in with you maybe 1, 2, or 3 times to make sure that you're fully comfortable being in the facility by yourself. And after that, we put you in the hands of the steering committee and our participants. But it's a great training experience, and we're always there for you. You can contact the program director and myself at any time. And we basically never leave you alone. You're supported your whole way through until you feel comfortable. Brandon, we have 2 minutes left. Do we have any more questions? We have two.
We do have a few, but maybe one last one.
Okay.
Can the panelists talk a little bit how they use what they learn in their art classes in their daily lives?
I can be really brief. The importance of sharing the space. I try to use this as often as I can. And by that, we mean just something as simple as when we're having a conversation and you're not having a conversation with yourself, of course, which means don't do all the talking. Make sure you leave room for the other participants to engage you in conversation. I use that all the time. Or at least I try. I don't do well all the time, but at least I try.
Marcel, you've been home a little while. What skills have you used from the inside in the last 2 months that you've been out that you can think of?
Dedication, discipline. I've learned how to become selfless, you know, coming from a selfish environment. I've learned to shed that because of RTA. You know, I've learned to appreciate everyone's space, like Rodney said. I learned how to share that space, you know, and I've learned how to use my voice, you know, to help me.
Excellent. Ty, would you like to add anything?
Just patience. That's like a lifelong thing that everybody works on. So I'm still working on that. And I definitely learned from being in the program with other people and like Marcel said, to share space, things like that. So just working on patience in a daily life.
Excellent. Excellent. So, you know, I'm very excited for this video because we have 3 brand new alumni who have represented RTA in such a magnificent way. You have been a voice for those that you have left behind and who will be home soon to join us. Then they'll take your place as representative for those that they left behind. So I would like to say Ty, Rodney, Marcel, Clara, and Leah, I can't thank you enough for sharing your experience tonight. And I'm grateful for all of you for watching the video and staying on for our panel discussion. I hope that everyone has a better understanding of the value of the creative arts in corrections and in particular, a return to in-person workshops, where being in the room with other individuals is integral to making a lasting change in the lives of those we serve. I hope everyone at home will consider a donation to help keep RTA continue to restart the arts and our full return to in-person programming. And behind in-person programming, productions are not far behind the corner. So please click the link in the comments or take out your phone. Everybody take out your phone and text the code YAY RTA to 444-321 to make a contribution. Again, that's YAY 444-321 to make a contribution. To my panelists, anything you'd like to add about the importance of supporting RTA?
Just want to say thank you to everybody for the support in RTA, because it definitely helps women and men incarcerated change their lives for the better. Honestly, that's pretty much it. No problem.
Thanks, Ty. Thanks.
Yeah, I'll piggyback off of Ty. RTA, I see it. It changes lives. People walk with purpose after having participated in RTA workshops, and they stick around for years. I think it's very important to support that work.
Right. So I was always told the more I know, the more I owe. And I owe a lot, and I owe that because of RTA. RTA really does need to be in a lot of other facilities because a lot of those other facilities, they don't have anything. They don't have a voice. They don't matter. You know, and I've seen personally what RTA does. I see how it makes people feel after they've come from a class or after they saw one of the volunteers come through. You know, it brightens their day. It gives them something to look forward to tomorrow. You know, so I appreciate RTA and I appreciate those that help us continue doing what we do.